Okay, thank you from my part, Luis Fontes, and all the organizers for inviting me to be here. I would like to present you another point of the subject, because I'm not a forester. I'm a psychologist, and I did my MSc in ecology and my PhD in social anthropology, although I have my supervisor, Jenny Wong, who is a forester, and my husband, who is a forester too. So, the idea of this study was, first of all, to explore changing association with nature derived from the valuation of common trees in mountain areas, to investigate the conceptualization of trees, and to understand and read landscape history through the management of trees, studying tree species and forms. So, the study area is in northwest Greece, in Epirus, near the frontier with Albania, in an area that has a very diverse vegetation, from summer pastures to warm valleys with Mediterranean vegetation, as the prickly oaks. It is the less populated area in Greece. Although the villages, they still survive, even the population in each village is something about 20 to 5 people. We have some immigrants the last years, some stone builders from Albania. We have an aging population, but also we have some economic migrants, lifestyle migrants, as they are termed, that they are attracted from the Piscurex traditional way of life, and they are coming to start a life in Zagori, trying to have something related to tourism. So, our ethnographic research about trees, 23 villages, 120 informants, 13 common tree species, specimens, as you can see on the right, and we choose some trees with criteria: the significance for everyday life, economic value, presence in the landscape, commonness, and symbolic association. We had three scoring, so we asked people to tell the value about the tree, scoring with 1 the lower and 5 the higher. And we have some free lists. So we ask people to just to tell us about uses and values of trees, and we could have multiple statements for every tree. So I think for the most we had is 18 different uses and values for one tree, and that added with, as you can see, a lot of statements about use or not use value. Our results show that there are some trees that they lose their value. There are some trees, actually only one, that it gains value from younger people. And there are some trees that we found no significant scoring change. So we would like to combine all our results to see what was going on. The free listing gave us a result that was quite important, that the most people value the trees because of the use value. But the young generation could mention only half of the values that the fathers and the old fathers or the old mothers could mention. As you can see, we have no so big changes in the intangible values. And in the last column, you can see that there are some knowledge that is lost. So here are all the trees, and are all the values, are all the use values. So we see that we have grazing. When I mean grazing, I mean the foliage fodder that the people take from trees. We have firewood, we have edible fruits, we have artifacts, that I spelled wrongly. We have timber, only walnut and black pine and fir. we have some medical uses, and we have dye, natural colors. So, what we saw was that all the trees that were related to timber and wood, the values are decreasing. All the timber industry is not going very well in this remote area. The foliage fodder is replacing by hay, and the old people, it's easier for them to buy wood and not to go to the forest to cut. And about artifacts, most of them there are introduced from China or from nearby towns, and very few people they do something like sefer sticks from cornelian cherry wood that is very, very strong. But we have another image for the non-wood forest products, because for example, you can see the cornelian cherry that now is very, very highly appreciated in Greece because of big concentration in vitamin C. And local people, they do some liqueurs and they sell it to tourists. But I think the big thing is the mushrooms, because we have in this area now 5 years a mushroom club, and they organize festival every year, and they attract people to go and collect mushrooms. And also you have some companies that they work illegally, and they use gypsies to collect mushrooms, mainly cantharellus cibarius and boletus, and to sell them dry or fresh in Central Europe. And also you have medical plants, like the tea from tilia, from lime. We have bees that people move them in different forests during the year. And also we have some young ladies that they started again to make things with wool and to use the colors of the trees. That was totally lost 10 years ago. So we see that the large-leaved lime, that was the only tree valued more highly by younger generation, was that one that has a new value, the medical property, that is very well reappraised by young people because of all this fashion of herbal medicine, natural wild foods, and traditional cuisines, which appears as a new lifestyle. On the contrary, the prickly oak, Quercus coccifera, that was a cultural dominant tree in the past because all the local economy was based on that tree, it used all the value. And the worst situation were some trees like the hornbeam, the Carpinus orientalis, or the Manas fraxinus, that not only they use value, but also they use the name. So the people are not able to mention any value, and also some young people, they are not able to tell what this name means, or to identify the tree. And we have another tree that we have no difference between generation, that is the plane tree, Platanus orientalis. This tree has few use values in the past, but young people are not able to say anyone. But this tree has a lot of intangible values, because I think it is the most social tree of Greece. In all the squares, all the things there are taking place under the shade of a platanus tree, and also it is thought that this tree goes along with the community. So the village founders build a community and they plant a tree. So all the social life of the community is related to this tree, and so it's another kind. We have no use values, but we have another kind of values. And they have some conclusions. In Zagori, changing land use and lower dependency on local environments is reflected on a loss of local knowledge and changes in valuation of trees. Formerly cultural dominant trees, as the prickly oaks, are the ones that have most noticeably lost value and for which erosion of local knowledge is most dramatic. The species themselves are much less threatened than the knowledge about them. For example, we have a lot of regeneration of oak woods in Greece, but what we lost is the forms of management. We lost the threaded forms of these trees, we lost the ways of management, and what we have at the end is that we have a very dense oak wood, but nobody's go there, so it's very dense and it's very vulnerable to wildfires. And the last one, traditional uses that support the new lifestyle of natural foods and traditional cuisines are appreciated highly by young generation. I would like to finish saying that we have a project until 2015 in Zagori. We are studying the sacred groves that they exist in the area, so we'll have the opportunity to do some research to support this job that you are doing here. Thank you very much.